Hello friends, welcome back to the Raomoon Oracle. I'm Rayo, and today we have a new card deck I wanted to talk to you guys about. So, this deck is not one you're going to find in your typical metaphysical shop or even on Amazon. It's one that comes specifically from Meow Wolf, and specifically their new location. So this is the Cowboix Hevvven deck. And it comes from the Radio Tave location in Houston, the newest Meow Wolf so far. And this is one you'll find in their gift shop. And it's really, really fun. It kind of ties in with the theme of the location itself. Inside Radio Tave, it's a radio station that got pulled into another dimension. Look up Meow Wolf stuff if you're interested in that, or I can talk about it if somebody's curious. But also inside of this location, there is this dive bar called Cowboix Hevvven. So despite the weird spelling, it is Cowboix Hevvven, and this is their poker and tarot playing cards deck that comes from the gift shop. So, with that in mind, let me open it up here. And let's refocus on my face here, please. There we go. Okay. So, this deck is super cool. I have not had a chance to mess with it or do any tarot interactions with it yet, but I did open it up and take a peek at it, and I got they had a display set of cards out, so I got to look at it before I bought it, and I was just like, I got to get this. It's super fun. So, the back of the cards look like this. And this one specifically is Meow Wolf. So Meow Wolf has had a couple decks. Focus back, thank you. Has had a couple decks. This is their second deck that I've gotten from them. They have another deck I've used before. I don't think is it nearby? It might be nearby. Somewhere down there. But that one comes from their Omega Mart location, and that one's an Oracle deck. And this one is tarot deck specifically and playing cards, so you can use it in all the ways. For anybody that's curious out there, you can use a regular deck of playing cards in terms of divination. The aces or the spades are swords, the diamonds are coins, the clubs are wands, and then the hearts are cups. So you can use a regular deck of playing cards in terms of the minor arcana. You don't have the major, of course, because that one's a little bit more specific. But this deck, super, super fun. So let me just pull out the ace here. So this is the ace of spades. There we go. And you can kind of see in the tippy top there, the, come on, focus. The secondary element of it, right? There we go. You can kind of see a sword in there. And you can see the darts. So I think darts are specifically for this suit. I'll have to look in the little guidebook here. But that's the general look for that one. Let me grab out. Let's go to the next one. This is the ace of diamonds, or coins in this case. Super fun, right? Next one. Here's the king of clubs. Let me find the ace. Actually, the aces are really good at showing everything. So I think this is cigarettes in terms of wands. And then this is the ace of hearts or cups. And then with this deck specifically, they have the 4 jokers. So this is secondarily a very interesting way to have some cards to pull out for a Oracle deck. And then after that, it goes into the major arcana here. So we can see our full card. Let's grab another one out. This is the Hanged Man. All the way up to, here's the World. And then here is our card information for anybody who's curious. So it is designed by Caleb Ortega and Mary Farth, written by Julianne Argular. I know I used to be able to pronounce that. I don't remember. And then inspired by Colby Wilson. So that's where it comes from, and that is specifically from the Meow Wolf Houston location. I'm pretty sure you can probably buy it online if you are curious about it and curious on getting a copy of it yourself. I bet it's on the Meow Wolf website, but I have not looked specifically myself into that. Let's see. Okay, get that back in order. There's our major arcana here. This is our aces slash hearts slash cups. Our clubs slash slash wands. Let's separate these ones out. These are swords slash spades slash darts, I think, and then our diamonds, coins, pentacles. So our little guidebook here, it says the divine hand, which is funny, tying in with, of course, poker, or like we have like our hand of poker, right? So how to read the past, present, and future with a hand life deals. Yeah, and definitely sticking with that like cowboy theme, right? So it has our major arcana giving us the description in that. And then it goes into what they call the drinking buddies and the minor arcana. So it says the cleaver, darts, sword, and spades. Fly high and true, you'll always hit your bullseye. The thriving nickels, coins, and diamonds. $1 in hand is worth 2 on the card table. The enchanting smokes, the wands and clubs. Never know what you'll smoke up when your mind is free. And then the loving shot glasses, the cup and hearts. Let the whiskey and heart flow, but don't be a rascal. So super fun, right? I love themed tarot decks when they're well done. There are card decks out there that I've seen that have a specific theme. They are tied to a specific movie or a TV show. And depending on how long the TV show is or how like many like movies there are in a movie series, potentially a tarot deck can be really well done because there's enough content within that series or within that movie, whatever type of media it is, in order to have a like theme or scene from a movie that applies to each deck in the tarot. And I think that's super fascinating. I like when a tarot deck is done that way. But then I have seen some like lazy tarot decks that are just like, okay, we're showing 2 swords and it doesn't have anything to do with it's just showing that card, right? And there are ones where it's like, okay, you can tell when a card deck has been really well thought out, when somebody knows what is going on with tarot and they are interested in tarot themselves. So perfect. This is the 10 of Pentacles, right? So it looks like a jackpot. It looks like the bingo being spun and pulling out the winning numbers, right? So that feels like the 10 of Pentacles. That feels like the excitement and the riches. Let's look in. Let's find a good, let's see, 3 of Swords, in this case the darts. So on the picture of the person, let's focus in, please. Maybe there we go. So 3 darts going into the person. We see a heart in terms of the hat around the face of the person. So the 3 swords going into the heart for the 3 of Swords, right? Super in line with the original imagery of the tarot deck. Look at this one. We have the 8 of Swords here. So that person that is usually bound up, and then all those swords around them. I also see like a cat in there. I'm just so excited to play with this deck. This one is super fascinating. And just when I opened it up the first, looking at the example deck, I was like, okay, I have to get this immediately. Let's find another specific one. Let's see, the King. Oh, okay. So 7 of Cups, right? So 7 of Cups, we usually have the different images, like the different like little themes, different tiny like animals or different like looks and stuff, because the 7 of Cups talks about all these like this kind of confusion we have, this like look at like, okay, I can go this way, I can go that way, I can choose this, I can choose that. So our 7 of Cups in this regard, we can see all the different little figures and themes in each of the different cups here, right? And it's like on a serving tray for the dive bar. Let's see, anything else I want to look at real fast that stands out? Quite a few different ones. The ties in definitely with the theme of the dive bar itself and the theme of the Meow Wolf location at the Radio Tave. So we have a little bit in regards to that energy. I feel like there's one in here. Oh, this one's a good example. So this is the Chariot, and it has a shark cowboy on a motorcycle. So that movement's through, but this character here, this shark character, is one of the characters that you can find inside the dive bar inside of Radio Tave and the Meow Wolf and Cowboix Hevvven. It's a figure, like an animatronic that'll talk to you because you can go by like nearby it and they're playing pool. So there are characters within this deck that tie in specifically with the location, and knowing the storyline of the location gives you a little bit even more intensity, more information about the card itself when you're using it in terms of tarot and fortune telling, so to speak, right? So this one is Judgment. We can see right here there is at the Meow Wolf location, you can interact with the jukebox. See, refocus, please. There we go. So we can see that jukebox here. So having been to the location, there is more interaction I get to have with this tarot deck specifically and play with because I know what's going on. So with this deck, as I'm going through the little descriptor pack here, I think the ghost actually is going to be the page, because it talks about, so example, the thriving nickels, which is the coins / diamonds. In this case, it says ghostly joker of nickels, bandit jack of nickels, rodeo queen of nickels, and then country king of nickels. So let's see. So I think they're making the jokers in this case the pages, which makes sense. So it's just interesting because they weren't lined up with the way it would be like when you're opening a new tarot deck. You'd go from the 10 of like pentacles to the page of pentacles, the knight, the queen, and the king, right? But that makes sense in terms of this deck. Let's see if I can find the entire one of this. There we go. Yeah. King and queen, and then bandit jack of nickels. So then, yeah, the ghost would be the page here. So, blah. Da, da, da. So yeah, we got our king, we got our queen. So then our jack here would be our knight because they're on the horse, right? And then our joker, look at the fake, the little horse it's on, which definitely shows in terms of the page, right? So it's not quite a real horse. So the page is one level down, newer to it's the energy of that suit than the jack would be, right? So yep, here is our joker of spades, or of clubs, which would be wands / cigarettes in this case. This is our joker of hearts / cups. Cute. And then that's funny, of spades / swords. So yeah, our joker energy looks like it is tying in with our pages, so that makes perfect sense, and I don't have to think about that now. So I was like, what are the jokers supposed to be here? Because they were definitely separated out. I went through the numbers, the jokers were at the end, and then I went into the major arcana. So that's all of our cards. Let's get them all together here. I'm super curious. Now, ooh, they shuffle good. That is awesome. That is a good set of shuffling cards right there, both in terms of playing cards. Whoever played poker, you're going to play any good number of games, right? I didn't do that well. It went into each other well. I just didn't do the shuffle well. The bridge. Let's try that again. Okay. Bit stiff. Makes sense though. They're pretty new. Okay. They're the size of regular playing cards, which is really nice. Okay. Good drop shuffling. They feel really smooth. I'm super excited to use this deck. Let's see. Okay. Shuffle one more time and then... Oh, yeah. Okay, they're loosening up for sure. So, let's see what they want to say. Cowboix Hevvven deck for our viewers, listeners, anybody who's watching this video. What information would you like to impart on our watchers today, our viewers? Oh, okay. It feels like, just energetically for a sec, it feels like it has to figure out what it's going to be. Because you could use this as a poker deck, right? You can use this as a card deck, or you can use it as a tarot deck. And it feels like, at least in terms of energy right now, it doesn't know which one it wants to be, or which one it wants, what one it wants I want it to be. So just something to keep in mind if you get this deck for yourself. It might need to be programmed in, or as you use it, it'll figure out what it wants to do, or it can be, because it can be both, right? You can use it for both. But the card that came out is our Jack of Spades, Jack of Darts in this case, our Knight of Spades, Knight of Swords, Knight of anything. It's going to be fun to figure out what to call everything. The Clever Darts. So this is our Bandit Jack of Darts. Came out in the upright. It does not... Oh, it does have reversals. I'll talk about that in a sec. But it says, for upright, it says Smiling Horseshoe, which is the upright. So we have action, decisiveness, ambition, fast thinking, assertiveness, which does make sense. So that is in line with the original meaning of the card. So that is the energy, having some decisive action today, making a firm choice, moving forward in that energy is the energy that this card is offering us today. In terms of the descriptions here, it does have upright and reversal meanings. They call it the Smiling Horseshoe or the Frowning Horseshoe, which does make sense in terms of cards, right? Let's see. Anything else to look at here before we finish out today? I think that'll do it. Does give a basic spread in here. Oop, let's see. They call it the Madison. Line dances to break in your boots. The common tarot spreads, that's really cool. I like that they're keeping to the theming all the way through. I think that is very good. Set your intentions, pulling cards, reveal cards, go forth and live, cowboy. Have a gander at the next few pages and find the tarot spread that works best for ya. That's for you. Oh yeah. The cha-cha, the nut. Look at that. AKA the Celtic Cross, AKA the 5-card cross. Whoever wrote this, whoever made this deck, they really know what they're doing in terms of tarot. And that makes it all the more exciting and all the more fun. So last look at the card. So for anybody who's curious about the designer, the writer, who inspired it, who made this deck. And this one again comes out of the Meow Wolf in the Houston location in Texas. And super fun location if you get a chance, if you're interested in Meow Wolf and what that all entails, what that all involves. But this is definitely a piece of art. I think ties in really, really well with the location itself and is really good for its intended purpose, whether it's a poker deck or a tarot deck and or both. And super fun one. You'll probably see it pop up in a lot of my readings here soon, so just keep that in mind if you're curious about it. And if you're curious of buying it yourself, again, it's going to be in the Meow Wolf gift shops. They probably won't have it at the other locations depending on where you're at, but it'll definitely be at the Houston one, and then most likely online on the Meow Wolf shop as well. So that is all I have for us today, friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a really fun one. I was excited to make and kind of get back into the groove. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.